Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's going on? Virgil Ortiz versus Mean Machine Aegis Kaviaskis. It is going down, I believe, August 14th. I think that's the same night that Guillermo Rigondeaux and Janriel Casimero is going to fight on Showtime, and then Aegis Kaviaskis and Virgil Ortiz, they will be fighting on DAZN. Virgil Ortiz taking on Mean Machine really shows me that he's serious about pursuing that WBO title. It shows me that he's serious about fighting good competition, especially when you look at where he is in his career. He's only 17-0. Now, he's already fought some pretty decent guys considering the low amount of fights that he's had so far. He's already been in there with Roscoe, who I believe only had one loss at the time, who's a very experienced fighter. He's been in there with Maurice Hooker, another very experienced fighter. He's also been in there with an older Mauricio Herrera. So this guy, Virgil Ortiz, man, he's very serious about fighting good competition early in his career so he can hone his skills and just continue to get better. And it lets me know that him taking this path right now, being ranked #1 in the WBO, he's fighting another highly ranked guy under that sanctioning body at 147 in Mean Machine. Maurice Hooker was also ranked in the WBO, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So, I mean, this guy is really trying to put his best foot forward, get better, take on stiff competition, and really try to work his way to a possible match with Terrence Crawford or, you know, whoever is the title holder for that WBO when he does get his opportunity. You know, so, but I think this is a great opportunity for both fighters. It's a great opportunity for Mean Machine because you have Virgil Ortiz, who is a highly touted fighter, a young prospect. I mean, he's not even a prospect anymore. He's a real contender now. He's a highly touted fighter, got a lot of promise, a lot of potential. A lot of people, including myself, view Virgil Ortiz as a very, very, very good fighter who can one day be a great fighter and be on the elite level at 147 and at 154 as well. This kid really has all of the skills and is a very fan-friendly fighter, a very exciting fighter to watch. You know, he can box. He really just likes to come forward and brawl with you and beat your body down over 12 rounds. But I think he does have the ability to box. I just don't think that he really had to show it in fights. And I also feel like that's something that he's probably going to develop more as he continues to raise the level of competition. He's probably never going to be a guy that fights off of the back foot like that, but I think you will see a more technical side to him, even with the pressure fighting and coming forward, using a jab better, controlling his distance, similar to how Errol Spence fight. You know, as you guys know, that Virgil Ortiz, he's also from Texas. He's from the Grand Prairie area. He even trained in the same gym as Errol Spence at one point in time. So these guys, you know, a lot of people compare his style to Spence with the pressure fighting, coming forward, going to the body, using his jab, and really breaking guys down. And Virgil Ortiz does a great job at that. So he's a highly touted fighter, and for Mean Machine to fight him, it really gives him an opportunity to get a win over a guy like this who has so much promise. Because even though Virgil Ortiz hasn't necessarily accomplished much in the game, it does say a lot for Mean Machine if he can beat this guy. Because if everybody looks so highly at Virgil Ortiz and Mean Machine go out there and get a victory, also you look at Mean Machine, he did unofficially dropped Terrence Crawford in their fight. He ended up getting stopped in that fight by Crawford later on in that fight. I think it was like the 8th or 10th round, but he did unofficially drop Terrence Crawford. And that right there kind of had people looking like, okay, well, was it an issue where Terrence Crawford just, you know, his defense is slipping, or his defense maybe isn't that good? or as good as people thought it was, or maybe Mean Machine is pretty decent. And if he can go out there and put on a great performance versus Virgil Ortiz and get a victory, that really does say a lot for him. I think that will open up more doors for Mean Machine to get bigger and better fights, put him in consideration for another title shot later on down the line. You know, because if he go in there and look good, man, I think that's going to really spike up his interest and his profile. You know, so I think both guys have equal opportunity here. I think Virgil Ortiz, this is an opportunity for him to make a statement, try to stop Mean Machine quicker than Terrence Crawford did. You know, that's a thing in boxing. To me, it really don't matter. Like, you knock a guy out, you knock a guy out. I don't care when you do it, because styles make fights. Everybody don't fight the same. It's different strategies that you use, so it may take you longer to break a guy down depending on the strategy that you use. You know, it varies with the type of punching power that you have. So, you know, but it's a thing where, you know, fighters, if a guy's been stopped by another elite fighter or somebody that's viewed on a top level, and they get in the ring with this fighter, they want to, okay, now I want to stop him. I want to do a better job. I want to put on a better performance. So, you know, I think that's something that Virgil Ortiz will be looking to do. You know, so that could raise his profile a lot if he can outperform Terrence Crawford versus Mean Machine. Also, it's an opportunity for Virgil Ortiz just to get better and just continue to grow as a fighter. And once he does get on that level versus a champion, I think fights like this will help him prepare and he'll be ready. And it's good that he's taking these type of fights early in his career. Like I said, with Mean Machine, this opportunity for him to get back into title contention, get back into the conversation with the top welterweights in the game, and we'll see what happens, man. But I think you will see a very, very competitive fight. You're going to see two strong-willed guys. I view Mean Machine as, you know, I'm not going to say he's a pushover or anything like that, because that's not the type of energy that I get from him. Watching the Terrence Crawford fight, you know, he was very patient and he seemed sure of himself, you know, until he actually got hurt. He seemed very sure of himself. He was confident, and he looked like, you know, he really had a game plan, and he was going to implement that game plan and you know, stick to what he came to do. And he landed some good shots. He boxed pretty decent. I saw a lot of times where Terrence was trying to land that out of the southpaw position, the southpaw stance. He was trying to land that counter right hook, but Mean Machine in the first few rounds, he was getting out of the way of that shit. So that right there let me know that he has some type of awareness, some type of defensive responsibility. So, you know, I think that's going to come into play in this fight with Virgil Ortiz. He's going to definitely need that, because Virgil Ortiz is going to apply a lot of pressure, and he's going to be active and accurate and very powerful. For Virgil Ortiz, I think, you know, he need to go in there and just be Virgil Ortiz, man. And, you know, a Mean Machine, he can be, in my opinion, sometimes he can be a little bit too patient, waiting on the right shot. But Ortiz is going to make him fight, because he going to come forward with immense pressure, throwing a lot of punches. So it could be an opportunity for Mean Machine to catch Ortiz with something crazy that he don't see, a crazy ass counter or something like that, you know. Or if he ain't quick enough with his hands and with his feet, he might get caught in the grinder and get put on them ropes by Ortiz, and it could end all bad for him. So I'm excited about this fight. I think it's a really, really, really good fight. It's a lot of good fights coming up in August. You got, like I said, Casemiro versus Rigondeaux. You have, you know, Earl Spence Jr. versus Manny Pacquiao. And I think there's another fight lined up for later on this month as well. So we're going to talk about all those fights as the month continues. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments. How do y'all feel about this matchup with Virgil Ortiz versus Mean Machine? What's your early projection or prediction, I should say? How you see this fight playing out? Who you got having the edge, you know, just right off the bat? You know what I'm saying? Let me know down in the comments, man. Contender Regime Boxing. I'll holler at y'all boys, man.